A millionaire abandons his disabled 3-year-old daughter alone in a stormy forest. 25 years later, a successful doctor with crutches walks into his office. "Do you remember that rainy night?" she asked with a smile. "Hello, Father. I've come back for everything you took from me." The millionaire leaves his 3-year-old disabled daughter in the forest and walks away. 25 years later, on that same night, the rain poured heavily, the sky darkened, and thunder boomed. Robert Stone, a wealthy businessman dressed in an expensive suit, carried his small daughter deeper into the woods. Little Sarah was only 3 years old and unable to walk. She was born with weak legs that didn't work right, they said. "Daddy, I'm cold," Sarah cried, gazing up at her father with trust in her eyes, her tiny arms clutching his neck tightly. Robert's face showed no emotion. His company was about to close a huge deal that would make him even richer. His new girlfriend, Lisa, was beautiful and had influential friends, but she didn't want to take care of another woman's disabled child. The mounting medical bills were draining his money. "Sarah needs too much care," he thought. "Just a little more," he said coldly, his voice barely audible over the storm. He reached a small open space and looked around. No one knew they were there. No one would find her. By morning she would be gone. Though it was sad, he believed it was necessary for his future plans. Robert placed Sarah under a large tree where the branches offered some shelter from the rain. He wrapped her in a thin blanket he had brought. "Where's Daddy going?" Sarah asked, scared and confused. "I'll be back soon," Robert lied, his voice trembling slightly. "Stay here and be quiet." Tears filled Sarah's eyes, but she nodded. "I'll be a good girl." Without looking back, Robert turned and walked away. Each step felt heavy, the rain so loud he couldn't hear her initial cries. By the time she was screaming for him, he was already in his car, driving away from the forest and his guilt. As he merged onto the highway, Robert made up his mind. Sarah Stone never existed. He would destroy all papers, all pictures. This was necessary for a better future. Not far away, Maria Jones was driving home after her late shift at the small hospital where she worked as a nurse. The forest road was dangerous in this weather, but she knew it well. When lightning flashed, illuminating the road, she saw a movement where nothing should be. Maria stopped her car. Her nurse instincts overpowered her fear of the storm. With a flashlight in hand, she entered the woods, calling out to whoever might be there. The faint sound of crying guided her forward. When her light found a small, trembling bundle beneath the tree, Maria's heart broke. "Oh, no," she whispered, rushing to the child. "What happened to you, little one?" Sarah was nearly blue from cold, her clothes soaked through. "Daddy," she stuttered through chattering teeth. "Daddy, come back." Maria wrapped her coat around the girl and gently lifted her. "I've got you now," she promised. "You're safe." 25 years later, the stone tower stood tall in the heart of the city. Robert Stone, now 62, had everything. Billions of dollars, friends, political influence, and a reputation as a shrewd businessman. His wife Lisa had given him a son, Robert Jr., who was learning to take over the family empire. In his top-floor office, Robert glanced at some papers when his assistant knocked. "Mr. Stone, Dr. Sarah Jones is here to see you. She doesn't have a scheduled appointment, but she says it's important." Robert frowned. The name meant nothing to him. "What does she want?" he asked. "She says it's personal, related to a medical charity she started. She won't leave without seeing you." Curious but annoyed, Robert nodded. 5 minutes. Then get her out." The woman who entered was walking on special crutches, moving steadily despite her disability. She wore a sharp suit, her dark hair neatly tied back. What caught Robert's eye was her look, smart, strong, and somehow familiar. "Mr. Stone, thank you for seeing me," she said, her voice clear and confident. "I'm Dr. Sarah Jones, founder of the Left Behind Children Foundation." He gestured to a chair, showing little interest. "You have 4 minutes. Go." Sarah sat down smoothly. "Our charity helps sick and disabled children abandoned by their families. We're launching a major fundraising campaign, and we want to show business leaders who support our cause. I thought you might be interested." "Because making up for past wrongs is powerful. Mr. Stone, or should I call you Daddy?" The color drained from Robert's face. The pen in his hand fell to the desk. "That can't be," he whispered. The night of April 17th, 25 years ago, Outside the city, a storm raged. A 3-year-old girl with leg problems was left under a big tree. Sarah's voice. Stay calm. Does that help you remember? Robert's hand trembled as he reached for the call button. Security, he started, but Sarah stopped him. The newspapers would love to hear how the great Robert Stone abandoned his disabled daughter to die in a forest. I have DNA tests, birth papers you didn't fully destroy, and my adoptive mother's full story of finding me that night. Robert's finger hovered over the button. What do you want? He asked. Money, Sarah replied with a laugh, but not happily. I'm a good doctor, Mr. Stone. I don't need your money. I want fairness for me and every child left behind because they were considered too much trouble. She placed a folder on his desk. Inside, there was a paper. You will give $50 million to the Left Behind Children Foundation and issue a public statement supporting our work. Sign it, and your secret stays with me. This is blackmail, Robert snapped. No, Sarah corrected softly. This is justice. You left me to die because I was broken and hard to care for. The woman who found me saw worth in what you discarded. She worked 2 jobs to pay for my treatments. She believed in me when you couldn't try. She stood, leaning on her crutches. You have until tomorrow to decide. After that, I'll tell the press about my incredible journey from abandoned disabled child to doctor with all the details. She turned to leave. Robert found his voice. How did you survive that night? Sarah paused at the door. The same way I've lived every day since, with strength you can't imagine and help from people with real hearts. Her eyes met his. By the way, I'm having dinner with Robert Jr. tonight. We found each other on a DNA website last month. He's very excited to meet his long-lost sister. The door closed behind her, leaving Robert staring at the papers that marked the beginning of his downfall. No matter what he decided, his empire, built after walking away from his daughter, suddenly felt empty. The press conference 2 days later was crowded with reporters. Sarah Jones, at the front, her crutches hidden, supported herself on the stand. Today, I'm proud to announce that Stone Industries has become the first major donor to the Left Behind Children Foundation with a gift of $100 million, twice what we initially discussed. Cameras flashed, and Robert Stone stepped forward, his face showing a fake concern, as if he had recently learned how disabilities truly affect families. He read from prepared words. I am proud to support Dr. Jones's important work. What the cameras couldn't see was the whispered exchange as they shook hands for the picture. This doesn't make us even, Sarah said quietly through her smile. What more do you want? Robert whispered back, his smile also forced. Control of Stone Industries, she replied softly. Robert Jr. and I had a wonderful dinner. He was shocked to learn about his father's past actions and even more surprised to find the company shares his mother put in his name. By my count, with his help, I now control 48% of voting power. Robert's grip on her hand tightened fiercely. That's impossible. No, father, he said. Sarah's smile grew more genuine. That's justice. You left me in a forest to build your empire. Now I'm going to take it over and ensure no child endures what I did. The forest taught me patience. 25 years is nothing when getting even is this sweet. Cameras flashed around him, capturing what appeared to be a touching moment between a generous benefactor and a grateful recipient. Only they knew the truth. The abandoned had returned, not just to survive, but to win and reclaim what was rightfully theirs. The business Robert built by walking away from his daughter would now serve the very children he once thought unworthy of love. And as Sarah looked into the eyes of the man who left her to die, she saw something she'd waited 25 years to see: fear. Sometimes justice doesn't come swiftly like a storm, but slowly, like a forest growing quietly, reclaiming everything in its path.